like there's two ways that I suggest you leverage tech to stand out and differentiate yourself. The first way is to be better at tech than they are. So, this isn't a high bar. Let's just be completely honest, right? In the same way that like knowing how to use your CRM, right, is important for you to be an effective salesperson, you better be an expert at the technology you're using to connect and communicate with your prospects.
Yeah.
Like if you're floundering around, there is no, like, that's like you showing up to a meeting in person and opening up a briefcase that's full of like half torn papers and pens and pencils that don't work and gum wrappers. And like, they're not going to look at you and think like, oh yeah, I'm totally going to give this person my business. I feel completely safe here.
Right.
You want them to feel like they are in a safe pair of hands. And the first way you do that is to be better at tech than they are, better at the tech that you're using than they're not better at everything, but you shouldn't be floundering around your Zoom platform or your Google Meet platform or your WebEx or whatever. You shouldn't be floundering around like that. You've got enough time. Sit down and master that stuff. So that's number one.
I think it also looks like you don't care. And, that's
point. Yeah.
The thing is that people want to know that they're important to you, that they matter, that you didn't just, wake up, walk into the other room with your slippers, throw on your camera and start going, that you really put some thought into it. Yeah. I think, we've had some nice feedback about our resources page that we've shared in previous episodes. And we've got a new one for this 4-pack on differentiation. And that's in a tool that you taught us about, that you brought to the table, the share kits. And that's just been a great, it has a good look and feel to it. All the resources are in one spot. It just gives people a sense of like, okay, I can trust these ladies. And so we've actually had some really good feedback just on that tech, and it had nothing to do with the content. The content is great on there, but it was all about the presentation of it. So I thought that was really interesting as a differentiator.
I think that is exactly it, right? You want them to feel like they could relax and you've got it all taken care of. If they have to worry about you, they are not going to trust you with their problem. And that's really where you need to get to. So here's my second little cheeky tip. My second little cheeky tip is that you can use cool tech as a conversation starter. And there's a couple different ways that you can do this, but in its simplest form, find a couple of apps or tools that everybody, when you show them, goes, oh my gosh, that's so clever. And then you can use that as kind of an ongoing conversation starter. So one of the ones that I was using, well, really up until recently, was a QR code business card. Now, what was really interesting about my QR code business card was that pre-COVID, nobody knew how to use a QR code. They'd heard of them, but they weren't really an expert with them. So I have a QR code business card, which I'm going to show on my screen here in just a second. So I have a QR code business card, and I'm just going to hold it up. So if you are watching the video, you can just scan that, just point your camera at it. But whenever I was out at an event or in person and somebody would say like, oh, do you have a business card? I would go, do you know what? Let me do one better than that. I'm going to just, here's my QR code, and just grab your phone, open your camera, and just scan that. And they would be like, really? That works like that? And it automatically adds me to their contacts on their phone. It's awesome. It's a cool bit of tech. I put the links in the resources. But what ended up happening was, rather than me giving them a business card and that conversation ending, I used technology to create a conversation. So they'd be like, wow, that's amazing. I'd be like, oh my gosh, this thing is so cool. Do you know what? I can send you a link to it. Do you want me to send you a link for this app? That's, and they'd be like, yeah, I do. Boom, all of a sudden I have a way to reconnect with them.